because there's quite a significant delay. Oh, he said really quiet. Well, hey, that's better than not hearing at all, right?
Hello, hello. Okay, well, that's a start. I mean, I could turn up my gain to where I fry your ears.
No, I got the, don't worry about the audio levels. I got it right here. Old OBS.
I was like, oh, Lord.
Oh.
Yeah, I need to turn up my gain a little bit, though.
Yeah,
because I usually have to for my videos. There we go. I turned it up a little bit.
All right, let's start this over. Guys, this is Alex from Hail Mary Sports.
What's up, y'all?
And
you guys doing?
I can't believe we finally got this working. I actually think that I can probably do it through the Discord now from what I just set up, but we'll try that next time.
Watch me like raising my gain, end up totally screwing this up.
That's all right. Oh, change
Sorry, y'all.
Here.
Yeah.
There we go.
Now let's hear that joke.
Yeah, so this is it. Alex, introduce yourself again.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Finally, for the third time, introducing myself. My name is Alex. I run Hail Mary Sports. I do an NFL draft network as well as like college football and just the NFL in general. So, as I was saying earlier, if you guys want to see more consistent mock drafts, feel free to come my way, but they're going to be far from as pretty as the ones on this channel. But I'm going to be coming. I'm up and coming. You guys can even check out on my thumbnails and stuff. I've gotten better. So, I'm coming to NFLRT. I'm going to be coming in. But yeah, if you guys like to see daily content, I'm pretty much doing it every day. So, feel free to stop by. If you guys just want to be able to hear a ton of mistakes, laughs, I don't know, whatever the hell. If you guys want to see hate comments, you know where to go. That's all me. That's all me right there. Plus, I'm not afraid to give you honest reactions because I don't really care what people think. But awesome. I care what you guys think because some of you guys actually know what you're talking about and it helps out a lot.
And if you want to be invited back here again.
Exactly.
You gotta be respectful a little bit. All right.
Exactly.
I think I'm gonna go back and check later on. I tried to like minimize this Zoom, and I think I might have froze you for some reason, but you're back.
I don't remember.
Your audio still would have come through.
Yeah.
I just had to add another source on here. I don't know why, but so guys, we're thinking about doing this as like a weekly stream. Maybe here, maybe somewhere else, some other time of day. But I think it's looking like Thursdays are going to be the best opportunity for both of us. So, I appreciate you guys tuning in, and hopefully this time of day works for you also.
Awesome.
First thing we wanted to talk about today is, I guess, Deshaun Watson, right? You wanted to say the landing spots for him. I threw him in the Vikings uniform in the thumbnail because he named the Vikings, and I think it was the Saints.
Could have
been the other team.
I'm bugging right now. I'm pretty sure the Saints.
Yeah.
I can definitely look that up. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it was those two teams. Deshaun.
And I have said, I told you earlier before we got on here, I love the idea of him with the Vikings. I think it's a great landing place. I think Deshaun in an indoor stadium will always be fun because, it's a racetrack for him, and getting to see him run around is part of what makes him so awesome to watch. It's funny because the Kirk Cousins truthers, man, they come out. They will get you. They will come for you and drag you if you slander their Lord Savior, Kirk Cousins. And it's interesting that he brought that up because he sees that there's definitely room for improvement in Minnesota at the quarterback position.
Okay, apparently it's the Buccaneers. I just saw it on CBS Sports.
That's right.
Yeah, it says he's eyeing the Buccaneers and Vikings as potential options.
Gary got us here.
Appreciate damn it, Gary and Luis.
Yeah. Oh, thank you guys.
Smash Bees.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that, man. I haven't definitively made those plans yet, but that's still up in the air. That would be cool. I don't expect COVID to be a thing. So you're gonna go to the draft?
Hell yeah!
How old are you?
I was supposed to go to Mobile. I'm 21 by that time.
That's you should be there.
Oh yeah.
You should have been in Mobile too, but
Did you go?
No.
Oh, I was
I've never been. I always wanted to go to it. I'm gonna go to something. I feel like the draft this year, if you're gonna go to a draft ever, this is the year to do it. I wanted to go with it in Cleveland because I used to live in Cleveland. I know people there.
Gotcha.
I could have stayed with somebody for free.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Yeah, but Vegas. I always wanted to go there. I've never been there, so that would be fun. But Smash Me, I'll definitely take you up on that beer if I end up out there for sure. What do you guys think about what do you think, I guess, about the Bucks as a potential for Deshaun Watson?
Oh, the problem is if I were the Buccaneers, one, what am I gonna have to give up to get him? Because the team's already stripped based off of I already just built off my offseason video for them, but just looking at what their offseason departures are, it's going to be a really tough one to try to see the value that the Buccaneers can offer. And honestly, if I'm him, you're going to go to a team that you're probably going to lose one of your best offensive linemen, not worse the G, but you're going to be losing some solid veterans, just guys who make the team good overall. That's going to be really tough to go to. Probably, I mean, you could win that division. Like, I'm sure that it's going to be very easy to do so. You're going to be the best quarterback by a long shot, and I'm sure you could do something in the NFC. But at the same time, I'd much rather eye somewhere else, like even Minnesota. I think they have the draft capital as well as the pieces to be a lot more intriguing to both the Texans as well as to Deshaun.
Yeah, no, I agree. I definitely like the long-term pieces in Minnesota more than in Tampa Bay. I think that if Tampa Bay was going to be primed for a run immediately, Tom Brady wouldn't have retired. I think the fact that he retired from the Bucks and mentioned the Bucks and said goodbye to the Bucks and left out the Patriots, I felt like that was him saying, see you later, guys. Like we did what we needed to do. It was going to be always going to be hard to run it back again. But cool little subscription notification there. Yeah, so if he was gonna, the receiving group here is rough, and they're gonna need a lot of work in Tampa if they're gonna be able to support a top flight quarterback here.
Oh yeah, and Ryan Jensen's up for a contract, and that's pretty huge. Obviously, having a good center is always key, especially since Deshaun's going to be coming back after a year off.
Yeah.
You need a good center to help you get back into IDing packages and stuff, and IDing Mike. So, for me, I mean, I'm just going to say this. I think center is the most underrated position in the entire league at this point. No one thinks that they're that valuable, but they're just incredible. Like
I feel like that is a good sentiment from like a fan perspective, but I always think back to the positional value of people say the closer you are to the ball pre-snap, the more important that you are. So that's what that's basically trying to devalue skill positions, wide receivers, cornerbacks, and saying that the closer you line up to the ball, the more important you are, and that's like the best. I mean, and the center's got his hand literally on the ball every single time. So I think you're right on point with that being a underrated position on the field. Yeah, I can tell you from losing Travis Frederick, the Cowboys' offensive line has struggled mightily, and it's with a prospect that I actually liked coming into the draft, Tyler Biadasz. I thought that he was going to be solid. It's just amazing, and he's been solid. He's been okay. Yeah. He's been an okay center, but there's something about going from a good center to an elite center like a Travis Frederick that it makes a world of a difference.
Oh, yeah, and I think that the only time that the value of that position becomes less than guards, tackles around them is because of when you have a quarterback with such high IQ. You look at Aaron Rodgers, you look at, I mean, even Ben Roethlisberger to an extent, you see that they can take over the line packages and stuff like that. That's when it starts being a little bit less valuable, but it's so hard. You have to have an elite franchise quarterback that can just see everything in order for it to be not as much of an impact as the guys around him.
Yeah, I agree. So if the Vikings were to move on.
Yeah. Are you on Sport Direct?
Yeah, I love this site. This is like,
it's so great.
This is literally where I spend half my time when I'm making mock drafts, and like if there's something that if I don't see some sort of math making sense here, then it's gonna I'm not gonna pick that position or something like that, you know. So if they were to release Kirk Cousins pre June 1st, they have $45 million in dead cap. So that's not happening, right?
Yeah.
If they were to trade him, though, they only have $10 million in dead cap. This is an interesting contract. This is not typically how these are laid out.
Yeah.
Zoom in here for you guys. Yeah, so this is kind of a unique circumstance that leads to this would be actually a really good place for him to go, and they could get out of his deal here pretty well. And it's also weird that it doesn't change post June 1st.
Yeah, that is interesting. Because most of the time there's like just
there's a huge usually there's a huge advantage, and that they a lot of times players the release will be designated as June 1st, so it like won't go into effect even though they will have been technically released. So yeah, I mean this would be a great move, and I'm a known Kirk Cousins hater. I got a good close look at him when he was here in Washington, and he's just one of those guys, another good guy. There's a huge gap between good and great, and he's just a good quarterback, but he's not a game changer. I think that he's probably a really, really nice guy. Kirk Cousins is an all-pro nice guy, and I think that that's why Vikings fans come to bat for him so hard, because when you look at the bottom line, he puts up numbers, and he does win sometimes. He wins 7 to 10 games a year, but he's never going to get you that extra. He's not what you thought you were getting. When they moved on from Case Keenum, he wasn't actually an upgrade from that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would say that Case Keenum had a little bit of a fire streak to him, but yeah, I mean, the impact of Case Keenum on this roster compared to Cousins isn't as massive as people were hoping. When it was like, oh, well, imagine what we could do now that we have Kirk Cousins instead of Case Keenum, and Case Keenum did the Minneapolis Miracle. We just almost went to like the NFC Championship type stuff. I mean, yeah, I love Kirk for what he is. And I think that if he were on a team like the Rams, where you have superstars that can outshine the quarterback play, that's his only chance of being able to actually make a run. But this is a team where you have injury-prone superstars like Dalvin Cook on your roster, where those are the guys who outshine. Yeah. But the problem is they're just not there. Like Dalvin Cook's not there 17 games a year. And that's going to make a big difference when you need him to be healthy every single game to make a big push. That's just unfortunately not the case. But I mean, he has some great stars around him. No disrespect to Justin Jefferson or Adam Thielen, but I just think that I guess that's the difference between a Matt Stafford and Kirk Cousins, is Matt Stafford can make those super clutch plays and be consistent to where you can kind of rely on him more than just pure receiving talent. Someone said Zimmer sabotaged Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I was actually gonna. I was working on this little pop-out chat thing I have that is pretty sweet. But it does not seem to be popping up on here, so I'll have to play with that. But I did want to address some of the comments, because I think that those are some pretty good points here. Just trying to get organized here. Once we get this down, this will be a much smoother process. All right. Yeah, God and Cowboys said that he was sort of like Dak, and I get that, and I can't argue against that sentiment right now. I would have always argued that in the past. I was pretty disappointed with Dak's performances this year. I do think that calf had a lot to do with it, but Smashby says that Zimmer sabotaged Kirk, and they did have a weird relationship. Did you ever see that clip where he like came to the sideline and like checked Zimmer checked Cousins like in the chest, like, and it was done like with an intensity that you kind of expect on a football field, but it was done also with this with the hostility at the same. It was very weird interaction. He also says, Smashby pointed out that there have been 4 different OCs in 4 years in horrible offensive line management. I can't disagree with you there.
Yeah, until this last year when they got Christian Darrisaw, but they got a gift when they traded back and got Christian Darrisaw. I don't know how the hell he fell there. They traded out of there for the extra 3rd round pick, and then they still got a guy who had a top 12 grade on. So
yeah. Well, it doesn't help either that Garrett Bradbury never turned into what we kind of thought he would be. Brian O'Neill, they just re-signed him, right? That's why he's got this fat contract.
Yeah, he did. He's been doing all right. I mean,
Ezra,
like,
that's right. They're starting a whole bunch of tackles.
yeah, at different
Essentially, yeah. Well, I mean, just Ezra has moved inside. He seemed like he was going to be a really good tackle.
I know.
But Wyatt Davis, why can't I not picture who that is?
He's from Ohio State. He was with
That's
that
right.
extra third round pick.
That's
I
right.
actually didn't like him, but then when they took him to this team, I was like, this is his best shot by far. Low expectations, some good pieces around him. Like, really didn't like him there. Where is he? I need to sort this by position. I love sporttrack.com. I'm giving them free advertising every time I can. Like, they make my job 10,000 times easier. Like, hands.
Smashby also points out that Darisaw didn't even start until halfway through his rookie year because Zimmer loves his vets.
Injury.
Those veteran loving quarterback coaches, man, they got to go. Like, there's a reason that you see all these like 36-year-old coaches in the league now because it's a different game. You've got to be prepared to start rookies from day one if they're ready. He did still end up starting 10 games, so he did play a good amount there for him. But yeah, they've definitely been an underachieving squad here lately. And it would for the sake of Justin Jefferson's career, it would be nice to see him with an explosive quarterback quickly because I like Kellen Mond, and I actually think that this was a sweet little setup that they did. Like this is what you want to do when you're drafting like a potential, like, what was he, third rounder? When you're drafting taking a flyer on a developmental prospect,
That's what you do in the third.
Yeah, exactly. The third, fourth, like that's exactly what you do. And I thought that this was a good setup. We didn't see Kellen Mond at all, right? Like I think he came in for some garbage duty here.
No, I don't think he even came in. I'm pretty sure because I remember Zimmer saying like I've seen him enough at practice.
That's right. They didn't even. Let's see. He did have 3 snaps. He had 3 snaps.
Whoa.
Nate Stanley, I think, or Sean Mannion, one of these guys came in, I think, for garbage duty. But yeah, I think that those are some pretty solid landing places for Deshaun Watson. What are we thinking about for Aaron Rodgers here in the Broncos?
Oh,
I feel like everybody just assumes that's happening. Like, is that?
I don't know if it is because, again, I don't think people realize the price tag because everybody's like, oh, it's a perfect spot for Aaron Rodgers. You got Hackett there. You have a good wide receiver room, a good enough offensive line, good running game. You have to give up something. Again, that's probably going to be that number 9 pick, maybe another pick, and probably a player. So, like, when you look at it, you could probably see even Garrett Bowles potentially being traded away if they're desperate for a tackle. Don't think they will do that because you can battle with Bakhtiari. But, I mean, there's just players that you will need to give up in order to solidify that deal. And that makes the team worse. It doesn't make Aaron Rodgers have a much better situation. I just don't think any spot is going to be good enough for Aaron Rodgers right now. Better than Green Bay. Just because, again, franchise tag Devontae Adams, say 1 more year, and stick with it. Just see where that goes. Honestly, it's their fault for friggin' paying a running back and then kind of scaring everybody else out of town. But I just don't know what else is better. You're going to go from the worst division, arguably, in football. I mean, the NFC North, you have 2 teams that are pretty much duds. And then the Vikings, who are historically middle of the road. And then you will go to the AFC West, which is Derek Carr, if he gets a contract extension, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes. So it's just, you're going to be going from arguably the worst to arguably the best division. And then the team that you just went to is known to be the bottom of the barrel, and they're having to give up pieces to be able to get you. It's a tough one to see how it's going to be much better over there. Now, San Francisco, that could be a different story, even though I don't have a first-round pick.
Dude, first of all right, I feel like we're back in Mac Jones' world again to the 49ers. They just traded so much for Trey Lance. Trey Lance is a baller, has got a perfect skill set for that 49er offense. If they go, no, and I'm not even going to say if, they are not trading more picks or a Trey Lance or anything to bring in Aaron Rodgers' old, so they can fall apart in the divisional round. Like they are not doing that, and I don't know where these came from. It's so frustrating. And I get it. It's Aaron Rodgers' childhood team. It's the team that he can't beat in the playoffs. I don't understand where the logic comes from with that. Like, oh man, that is such a frustrating take, and I'm not like getting on you for it because it's one that
a
I've
wide
heard
take.
So many people have said it, and it makes sense. If they still just had Garoppolo, if they hadn't made that move, it would have made so much sense to bring in. But with
you do
Trey
bring a
Lance
good point.
changes that completely. You can't just abandon that before you even tried it for an Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. I guess I have less faith in Trey Lance than you do, just because. I mean, if there's
That's
anyone
fair.
who's
We
going to
haven't
make it
seen
work, it's true that Shanahan's probably his best bet to work, so there's a chance. But at the same time, it's like, what is your actual end goal? Is it to build a sustainable franchise or to build a winning one? And that's going to have to be answered by Lynch as well as Shanahan, because Trey Lance is still going to need time to be consistently a winner, because I feel like he's a guy who's going to win and lose games with his skill set until he's fully polished, like a Josh Allen. The problem is you need to bet on the future rather than bet on the present. So it really just does depend, because I think that if they're like, you know what, we made it way farther than we should have with Jimmy G, we need to win, or they realize that the timetable is not looking good in the long run because of the lack of first round picks, then you could see that happening. But you'd also need Green Bay. You'd either need a 3-way trade for Trey Lance to go elsewhere and then another team to supply picks, or you need Green Bay to give up on Jordan Love, which could happen. But
yeah,
everybody's saying Rodgers to the Browns. Ooh,
I just don't see. Here you go. So I think I got it. Bam! Look at that. Do you see it on the live stream? It'll come up in a second for you if you're actually streaming it.
Yeah.
I like that too, but once again, I just don't think that they're going to give up on Baker this quickly, just based off of the fact that he played so much of last year with that injury.
Yeah.
I think that
Are you talking about the pop-up of the
you
chat?
see that? So I
like it, yeah.
I can bring that up, and then
you got Rodgers.
Cool because it like brings an accent to the conversation of the comment that we're actually talking about, rather than obscurely talking about these comments that are all covering my face.
True.
But this is I'll send you a link for this later too. This is a pretty cool little plugin.
I like that. Yeah, I have my draft grades up from the 2021 draft, because I did just initial grades.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what was your biggest miss? I know that we didn't really plan to talk about this, but what's your biggest miss
ever?
No, in this last draft.
Oh, this previous draft.
So we obviously
probably Micah Parsons, to be honest, because
really?
As a Cowboys fan, I didn't really want him that much going in, and I was like, okay, sure, like I'm content with it when we drafted him, because we had missed out on the cornerback, so it was like, okay, whatever. And somebody actually commented I made a top 10 unicorns video last year of all the unicorns in the draft, and I didn't put him in there, and somebody called me out for it, and I was like, I will gladly take the L on that one, because he's a blessing. And to me, Micah Parsons is the type of player that is what instills so much optimism for every single fan base this time of year. Like, everyone thinks that there is a potential to land a Micah Parsons type of rookie player from day one. They come in and they're just a baller, and you're like, holy, we have got a literal game changer on the defensive side of the ball, which is not an easy place to find players that make that sort of an impact. And he's sorry, Pat's time. He's that guy. But yeah, I didn't really give him enough credit going into the draft, and it was because of, it's such an interesting thing too with the years off, the opt-outs and stuff that people had, because they left like a staleness to that prospect. I think in fans' eyes, it didn't seem like that though once the draft came and went, because there were players that were going that didn't play for a year, but they were still going really high in the draft, like Parsons, like and I think it just shows that we are prisoners of the moment a lot of times with drafts and draft prospects, and but how about yourself? Who's your biggest miss last year?
So the guy who I missed out on was Creed Humphrey. Uh, I mean, I still gave I gave the pick a B, but there was like the first snap I ever watched of him. I think it was versus Texas. He literally he went to double team a defensive tackle and let a blitzer right up his A gap and just totally destroy Spencer Rattler. Now, knowing Spencer Rattler's personality, I don't blame him. I'll just say that. But I saw that a couple times, and I just really didn't like his IQ. And I saw him walking on the field a couple times. That usually is something I'm not a huge fan of. But I just really didn't believe in him that much. I thought I had Josh Myers slightly above him because I gave Josh Myers pick a B plus versus Creed a B. But another one, someone who I was positive about that hasn't made an impact is Dwayne Eskridge or D Eskridge. I gave that pick an A minus because I really did like him. I had him as like a late first. Just a huge fan of him, but he hasn't made an impact yet, which sucks.
How about the Rams drafting Tutu Atwell, and they still went and won the damn Super Bowl after that? Like, what a terrible pick! Like you trade away all your picks, you got like one shot at getting a good player, and you took a dude that you were like, I still don't even know what they were trying to accomplish with that, other than like trying to get their own Tyreek Hill, and then they went and signed Deshaun, who karma's a bitch, bro, but. It's just wild. Tutu Atwell was such a weird pick, and it's one that could pay off for them still down the line. But it's they're talking about bringing back Odell. Bobby Trees comes back, like one of the best nicknames in all of everything, not just sports. Robert Woods comes back. I mean, who's coming off the field? Not Cooper.
Nope.
Like,
you want to know what I gave that pick? Like, what do you think?
The Tutu Atwell.
What do you think I gave the two? What do you think I gave it? Like, grade wise?
It had to be a D.
F.
An F, yeah. And I was being kind.
He and Leatherwood were, I think, the only two Fs. Oh, I missed out on Javon Holland as well because I had Merrick higher than him. That's the only reason why I did that. But yeah, Tutu and oh my God, Leatherwood. Those guys were Fs.
Yeah.
Those are the only two Fs I had.
What was the Seahawks? Who did they did the same thing?
Dwayne Eskridge.
Oh, that's right. That's who you're talking about.
Yeah.
All right.
That's who I missed out on.
Yeah.
Yeah, big time. And yeah, I'm seeing if there's anybody else who I totally missed out on. I don't think I didn't really totally crap the bed on many of these picks. Pretty happy about that. But those are some huge misses of mine. Like big time. But again, we don't know these players yet. We'll see in like a couple years' time. But still. Like Steelers, Jalen Darden to the Buccaneers. I gave that an A. We'll see how that turns out. But I gave Ian Book an F. That's the only other F I had for most of the draft.
He ended up starting games this year too.
I know. He was so bad. And then, dude, didn't the Falcons got this guy, Taquan Graham? I haven't even heard of him. Like, that was another F. I'm scrolling down my list to see the Fs in here. Houston got a guy named Roy Lopez. So, I have no idea who these guys are. Oh, Racy McMath. There you go. Tennessee missed out on... Oh, didn't they, like, release their 4th-round wide receiver, Des Fitzpatrick? And then they, like, signed him to practice. God, that's just so bad.
Yeah, you can't miss the 4th-rounders.
Yeah, that's... Like, you have to get somebody who... You either get someone who's a freak athlete, which Des was not, or else you get somebody who's going to be a proven commodity. And
yeah, even as a backup, you know, they need to be able to make the roster their rookie year. Like,
yeah,
that's pretty bad.
Oh yeah, dude, right. I love Ben Skoranek last year. That was one of my big hits later on, and he's actually played in the Super Bowl. So happy about that. So I'm seeing what Patsheim is saying. Pretty sure RT is ready for Sean Payton to come out of retirement to replace the head coach. What do you think about that?
I like it. I hate the fact that it already feels like we're punting on this season. Like, that sucks, man. Like, when the Cowboys lost that playoff game, I fell into a shell of myself, and I moped around my house. My wife's like, "What is wrong with you?" She's like, "It's just a football team." It's like, it's not. You literally spend an entire year like emotionally investing yourself in these teams, and each year is a different squad. You know, each one's get a different feel to them, and when you put that much energy and effort into them, when they fall off like that and they just underachieve, it's like, man, the whole regular season is so long, and even for a fan, it's a long experience, and to just have it fall apart like that is terrible. But to not even have any optimism throughout the whole season, like, I don't want to say any optimism, because I'll still be optimistic that we'll be able to do something, but it definitely feels like you've got a lame duck coach that's not by definition lame duck, and it sucks.
I thought it was interesting that they talked about, since the coordinators returned, they're like waiting to take the spot from him. I was like, oh, that's like, damn. That made me feel weird. I was like, oh Lord.
I gotta work on this, tweak the settings on this little pop-up thingy here, because it like cuts off the bottom half of you guys' comment. But God and Cowboy says that McCarthy's not punting unless he loses the locker room, and I agree that he's not going to punt, because he's got a ton of money on the line. He's and the reason why I'm not super excited about Sean Payton and I'm not jumping for joy is because there's very little track record of, if any, even of a coach winning 2 Super Bowls, 2 different teams. Because it just requires an extra edge. Like, you've literally got to sink your body and soul into being a Super Bowl winning coach. And I don't know if you can recapture that fire with another team. Like, it's a tough uphill battle that I'm not really that fond of. I would much rather give it to a young, hungry guy. I think that Dan Quinn's a perfect opportunity to be a head coach, because he's already been there. He lost in the worst way you can imagine. Like, that's what nightmares are made of, and you can't tell me he is not uber motivated to overcome that and make up for that. And so that's what I want in a head coach. I want a guy that is young, hungry, and driven. I don't want a guy who is coasting and wanted to leave the cold tundra to come down into the warm climate of Dallas and work in the best facilities in the league. I'm sorry, I didn't want Mike McCarthy from the start. I don't really want Sean Payton, to be honest. Like, I think he'll be an upgrade over Mike McCarthy? Hell yeah. But I also just don't think that there is that you're able to recapture that edge that it takes to sell your soul for another Super Bowl title when you've retired. If you were even at the point where you could claim that you were retiring, you've already stepped out a little bit. You've stepped away from the game a little bit. Are you coming back now just to cash Jerry Jones's fat checks and, like I said, work in the best facilities in the league?
Do you blame him though?
I don't blame the coaches. Hell no.
I don't
sign me up. Like, where do I sign? But
like, hell, I'd take any job from Jerry. Jerry lives like a mile away from me. Like, I'm driving to get some fried rice. By the way, there's some good fried rice here in Dallas. But like, I just like go by this place with huge gates and stuff. I'm like, "Sup, Jerry?" And he goes to my church too. I saw him one time. I'm like, God, it's so weird.
You probably go to one of those gross super churches with like.
Well, I don't go anymore because I realize
the pastor drives like a Lamborghini and.
Oh yeah. No, because it's on SMU's campus. So.
Yeah. I remember when I lived in Dallas, and my parents used to drive us, and they'd be like, "Hey, look, it's Troy Aikman's house," and we used to drive like it was like a legitimate like tour that we would go on.
Yeah.
And look at these like massive houses, and it was always pretty exciting to see that stuff. But let's shift gears here and talk about some draft. I've had this draft guide here pulled up for quite a bit.
Doing a mock the mock, as we like to call it.
Yes, we're mocking the mock, as the kids are on these YouTube streets are doing these days. If you guys have not seen The Ringer, they're interactive, not really interactive, but if you like my stuff and I care about the presentation, they care about the presentation here. This is one of the best articles, the most interactive articles you'll ever see. You can come through here, you can skim it, peruse through. We like to deep dive. First up, he has got Evan Neal for the Jaguars. Shades of Mekhi Becton. When I saw that, I loved that comparison, because it does fit really well with him. I think he's better. It's funny that he uses shades, because he's actually a improved
Yeah.
technically version of Mekhi Becton, but he has that same mammoth size that I question. Can you hold up? That's my issue with an Evan Neal. Can you hold up? You've already gone through the rigors. I know that Alabama is an intense program. Guys usually come out of Alabama beat up like a 4-year veteran in the NFL. Can you hold up to a 17 game season now?
Yeah.
Being 6'7", 360?
I think he weighed in at 345.
Did he?
If I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna check PFS because I heard that he weighed in at 345.
Where did he weigh in at?
I don't remember because I saw it pop up that he weighed in at 345. I'm gonna check it because I keep hearing 360 go around, and to be honest, he's not he's right now on PFF.com in their premium stats. It's 350. They're usually the most up to date. Yeah, they're usually the most up to date. He doesn't look 360. When you look at him, he's too light on his feet for 360.
6'7" is still really
he's
tall.
A big dude.
That's hard on your legs, man.
100%.
So that's drafting an offensive tackle for me, number one, is just it's never going to be the move. I'm sorry.
Really?
I will take unless it's a generational guy, man. Like Orlando Pace is the last guy I can remember going number one overall that was actually worth number one overall. Usually even offensive tackles in the top 5 they don't pan out to be top 5 worthy picks. I just don't think that they have enough impact to where they are worthy of a top 5 pick. I will literally take anything to trade down and get them in a place where I think that they're more appropriately drafted. Their salaries get a little bit lower, and you get a bonus pick on top of it.
Well, I'm a little bit different than you.
I mean, you've been all over the centers, so you were an offensive line guy. To me, the offensive line are. I mean, you saw Joe Burrow carry an offensive line that shouldn't be. That's a 6-win team based on that offensive line.
Yeah,
they shouldn't have been in the Super Bowl with that offensive line.
To be fair, their left tackle was pretty solid. I do like Jonah Williams.
To be fair, that left tackle should be a left guard, and he'd probably be all pro.
Yeah, well, to be fair, that might have helped them on that last play of the game when the left guard, Quentin Spain, just totally bailed, but that's okay.
I love that the Penei Sewell memes came back. The one with the have you seen that with the player throwing is Joe Burrow with Penei Sewell throwing it to just anybody, and I love that popped back up because we did come full circle with that, but
it's why I didn't give the Chase pick an A+. I gave an A- because I was like, dude, I know that's gonna be a stud pick, but it's just Penei Sewell's a different breed. I had Penei Sewell as my number one guy in the class, so that was just me. But I also comped him as a generational talent. I have Evan Neal as my number one guy in this class, but that's because he's so moldable. I mean, he's played 1 year at 3 different positions and has played at a very high level at all of them. He's such a toolsy guy. He's the only tackle in this class that does not hold in order to maintain control of the player. Only tackle I've seen. Keeps his hands inside, and he's extremely athletic. Do you see that split squat jump he did?
I did see that. That was.
I was like,
that was
oh
impressive.
My god! That's not normal.
Yeah.
That is not okay. So yeah, when you see all of that, and he's also 21 years old, going to a team like the Jaguars where they're already developing Walker Little anyways, it seems too perfect for me. You're gonna have 2 guys who are developing who are very high end talents, and you're finally gonna have them at a position for more than a year. I just love it. So I think he's better at right tackle though.
We've already spent too much time on this first overall pick, but for me, I personally would rather, and I don't even think he's that good, but I would rather bring back Cam Robinson for a cheap deal. He's not going to make that much. He was on the franchise tag here, making $13 million.
Yeah.
He's not going to get that in a free agency deal.
Sure.
If he goes out and sees that and sees, hey, I'm not getting, but offers of $7 million a year, if I'm the Jaguars, I say, hey, we'll bring you back on a 2-year deal. You will have another chance to get paid. You have 2 more years to be able, with a good quarterback and a good system, and get yourself paid again down the road. Or, like you said, continue to develop Walker Little, and maybe you've got your left tackle there. I would rather do that because you've got somebody in-house that is experienced. Cam Robinson, I don't think will get worse.
That's fair.
So I like the idea of adding a pass rusher because I don't think that they have enough on the defensive side. Kayvon Chason did not develop the way that we thought he would. He's also in a weird scheme.
Yeah.
And so maybe they'll be able to find him a better place to play.
Mm-hmm. He's just not in the right environment right now for him to grow properly. I'll say this: the reason why I would never take the edge at number 1 in this class is because the tackle class is garbage, in my opinion, outside the top 3, versus it is elite outside the top 3 edge rushers. Like, we're going to see possibly 6, 7, 8 edge rushers go in the first. And I have 11 with first round plus grades. Not saying they're going to go in the first, but that type of talent is ridiculous. So, because I'm just saying, like, hey, you need an offensive tackle. If you can somehow trade back and get him, 100%. Yeah. All day, every day. And all day, every day.
The problem is there's no quarterback. Nobody is going to want to trade up for that. So.
Yep.
All right. Let's move on to the Lions. He's got them going. Aiden Hutchinson skipping over KT. I don't know about all that, but he's got shades of a souped-up Max Crosby and Marcus Davenport.
120 pressures, not 100. That's all that matters. But I don't like the Marcus Davenport part of it. I think Trey Hendrickson's a perfect comp for him. Like, that's his floor. Trey Hendrickson.
Be a white guy.
I mean, when you look at it, like, he just looks like Trey Hendrickson on the field, regardless of him being this old.
Marcus Davenport is one of those sort of bigger, thicker, technical. He's not as athletic as some of them. He's not a finesse defensive end. So I can see the Marcus Davenport from there. I see why the Max Crosby and Trey Hendrickson make more sense. I've made the Joey Bosa comment based on technical white guys with number 97 on, but I could see some Marcus Davenport there.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up, I comped him to like a slightly worse Bosa.
Yeah,
that was my thing. Like, it's in between a Bosa and a Hendrickson. I think that's his range, and that's a really freaking consistently good edge rusher.
Danny Kelly is big on this guy right now. He says he's a relentless, hyper athletic pass rusher with top tier production, great length. So my issue with Danny Kelly is he is also a full-time fantasy guy during the season, and then he shifts gears to be their draft guy. And I don't know if you can genuinely do them to the degree in which they require. You can't do both. You got to pick one. Like, if you're doing fantasy, there's no reason you shouldn't still be analyzing fantasy data. If you do the draft during the season, you should be all in on college football. You should almost not even be watching that much NFL. The priority should be Saturdays.
Making sure you know the prospects.
Yeah. So I don't know if I agree. Like I said, I like using this because it looks pretty, and I do think that he knows what he's doing. I just don't know if he knows to the degree. To say that he's hyper athletic to me is just inaccurate. It's just
It depends on what he means by athletic, of course. Like, if he includes strength and athleticism, you can start talking about it because he does have a lot of speed to power. But I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here. I totally agree with you.
All right.
But next pick.
Yeah, let's go on to number 3. We've got the Texans going with KT. And, dude, I see so many mock drafts with them skipping on KT or Aiden Hutchinson, one of the two, and going for Kyle Hamilton. While I love Kyle Hamilton, I don't know if you pass on a edge rusher that has number 1 overall pick potential for safety. And I love Kyle Hamilton. Like, I literally think you're getting the next big thing at safety, the next Derwin James, the next I can't even think of another. There's so few safeties, elite safeties in the league. I wouldn't take him over Kayvon.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of rumors out that Kayvon doesn't have the fire for football because he talks about why he went to Oregon for like Nike and Under Armour and stuff like that, which, to be honest, do I blame him? No. Again, like, he ended up being easily the best player in Oregon. So he showed out there comparatively. And then he also took a move for himself. I mean, he wants to have good deals. NIL was around the corner too. And this is a way to build relationships down the line. I don't think that's a bad thing. Also, I'm going to plug my school here, Oaks Christian. KT and I both went to school together, and we both were in detention together quite a few times for having a beard. The he's one, fucking hilarious, but two, he's extremely mature. Everybody tries to talk like he's immature and stuff. This guy's brilliant. Like, he's a very smart guy. He makes a calculated decision.
Yeah.
And some players don't, and it's fine to not want to kind of like go to Alabama to win a championship if you want to make yourself better. Mm-hmm. It doesn't make you a worse football player.
So I see a lot of comparisons from his production from this year to last year. And I think that he is an example of a player that it doesn't matter if it's not for COVID reasons. Like, feel free to opt out. Like, you don't want to get hurt. You don't want to tear an ACL for a college game, for a college team that's not even going to be competing for a national championship. Feel free to opt out. Like, I'm okay with that, because it does seem like there were moments where he was maybe loafing or not giving it his all. You know, the old Jadeveon Clowney thing. And I don't blame him. I wouldn't want to get a torn ACL when you got this much money on the line. And he did deal with injuries early on in the year, was able to come back from them, still ended up with 12 tackles for loss, 7 sacks. Like,
a lot of pressure too.
Yeah, he's still really an explosive guy. I'm not overanalyzing this year to last year, and I was bringing up the opting out because we saw last year how much it did not impact certain guys, and I think that he was one of those guys that this would be a shoe-in if he had taken the whole year off and said, guys, I'm the number 1 overall pick if there's no quarterbacks. Like, I'm going to opt out. I'm sorry. I'm going to start training for the NFL, getting my body ready, and I think that it would have done him a lot better in the long run.
Yeah. Funky Lions fan talked about how since we were in detention that he's not immature. We were in detention because we went to a damn school who didn't allow facial hair. That's why. We always got put in there because of that. But that's the only reason why. It wasn't because he was being a douche or anything, or being immature.
Weird. Facial hair.
Trust me. Well, you saw from my image when you first pulled this up, that's what we had to look like every day. So God bless I'm not there anymore. But still, I mean,
First you go to the weird super churches, and now you go to a school that doesn't allow facial hair. I don't know about this, man. We need to save you from Texas.
I know, right? I
used to say I wanted to move back to Texas so bad, and I miss the flatlands, and I miss how cheap real estate. I don't miss that, but I see how cheap real estate is there now.
It's gotten
it's gotten bad everywhere, but I've always wanted to move it. But no, Texas is crazy. Texas is Florida part 2, and I'm not even at all about it, either of them.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, but let's move on. Let's not go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah,
one of the Jets here with their first pick. They've got Derek Stingley. This guy, it's going to be all based on his scouting reports, his combine results, right? Mm-hmm. Like, he's in his interviews. Like, he's got to interview well and test as well as we assume that he will do if he's going to go this high.
Yep.
If he runs a 4.5, 4.6, he's not going in the top 10, I don't think.
Yeah, no, if he runs 4.5, he's not going top 15. He's going to be outshined by Booth, who can run a 4.4, 4.3. Sauce will run mid 4.4s.
Damn, you think it means that much then, huh?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, Derek Stingley has more than just athleticism that could be an issue. It's the injuries. Like, if his medicals don't check out, which they've halted his career 2 years in a row now, granted, different injuries, so they're not exactly related. That's going to be a big factor. Again, you have to have reasons to love Stingley, because he had a big drop off after his freshman year.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, massive. Like, he's still riding that Joe Burrow LSU magic all the way to the draft here. And so he's one of the riskiest picks in this draft, I think.
Easily. I mean, I usually see him going when I do it, I usually put him to the Falcons at 8, because he's so risky that you need someone like AJ Terrell to balance that out. I don't think that you want him to be you don't want to thrust him in as a cornerback 1 immediately. That's a very risky move for you. So
yeah,
there's a guy at PFF. I forgot his name. He's a guy who I haven't really heard much about. He's a new guy, but he talked about how Derek Stingley is his number one guy in the draft. And I'm like,
some people say things because they just want to stand out from the crowd, and they think that that's the way to get attention.
they want the one-liner. They want to be on the Twitter page.
Yeah, they're like, yo, somebody might make a headline about me. Like,
yeah.
You say
who would you go at number 4?
Who did I go with at number 4?
Like, well, who would you go with in this situation if all these guys are gone?
Oh, Kyle Hamilton, easy.
You wouldn't go after Icky? I mean, that's Mekhi Becton. That's pretty much the ceiling for Icky.
You know what? So I heard, one of the downsides for us as fans and draft analysts or whatever, is that we don't get the privilege of being able to like really meet with these guys and like hear like the, you know, what's ticking up here. And I think that is like 70% of it, honestly. Like, we looking at the physical attributes that can translate if everybody has the same amount of work ethic, the same amount of dedication and drive. I was watching a lot of Super Bowl interviews, and he was there, and I was impressed with just how articulate he was, how smart he seemed, how he seemed like he was just an overall, like, he had a presence to him. And I like that about any players. But as an offensive lineman, I think that you need to be able to walk into the huddle, and you need to be able to walk out of the huddle, and people are like, that don't mess with that dude over there. Like, and I think that he's one of those dudes. And so I'm starting to like Icky a lot more. I think that he's going to be. I think that he definitely has potential to be better than Evan Neal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you just look at that pure power, that's something that you can't teach. The thing is, he has upper and lower body power. That's like, he has the best power in the entire class. He has a strong anchor. What?
Sorry, Atlanta fan said Jets gonna make Kyle Hamilton into Blitz Boy Part 2.
Oh God.
I thought
you were talking about the upper and lower body power. I was like, oh.
Sorry. They robbed the Seahawks, man. The Seahawks, if there's some buyer's remorse, man, Seahawks have got it, because, God, that was terrible.
Oh, dude, trust me, I know. But I have actually, Kyle Hamilton's my number 3 guy in the draft. I would still go Icky because of the fact that, like Stingley and AJ Terrell, you'd go Icky and Mekhi. It's just, you have somebody who's already established.
I think he's the offensive tackle. I think he's the left tackle, man.
Oh, absolutely. I think that you can just move him to right since he's so moldable.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, we saw with Penei Sewell, he was on the right side. He looked like a bust, and then he moved him to the left, and he was the guy we thought he was.
He came back to right? And then he actually started playing better, though.
Did he?
I'm gonna triple check that. But
where do you check stuff like that
at? Do you have premium PFF stats?
I did. It expired. I need to re-up it.
Yeah, so that's what I do. I have it for NFL.
Do they say left tackle and right tackle there?
Yes, they do. So I'm gonna look at it right now. Penei. I just looked up Rene. That's, gotta love it. Penei Sewell. Let's see, offense. Yeah, so he played right tackle to end off the season. He actually started out at left tackle this year. Is that right? Oh, because I think Taylor Decker got hurt, and then he played there.
Yeah.
And then, he actually had a better part of the year at right tackle than left.
Interesting.
Because at the preseason, he looked like a fish out of water.
Yeah. Shows how much I paid attention to the Lions this year, right?
Amen to that. But no, week 10 versus Pittsburgh, that's when he shifted to right tackle. And then he played that for the rest of the year. And that stretch, he only had 3 games below 70. 3 games below 70. With a game at 88.6 versus Denver. I mean, the guy did it. I mean, I honestly think they did a phenomenal job. He had his worst games at left tackle. And I honestly thought it was the other way around. But yeah, he stepped it up.
Natural, I felt like at left tackle. Maybe he just needed to get his feet under him. So, talking about Icky, though, if he's there for number 5 for the Giants, that's the easy one.
Take him.
Yeah.
Take him in a heartbeat. If he's not there, though, like, who would you take?
If he's not there, then that means that one of either KT,
or Kyle
Hutchinson, Hamilton, or Evan Neal, one of them has got to be there, right? Like,
yeah.
So if he's not there, then it's got to be one of the previous 4.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so and I think they all fit a need for them. Kyle Hamilton is one of those players, though. Like, it's going to take the right GM, having a vision, having the guts. Let's be honest. Like, you got to have guts to take a safety that high. So, yeah.
They have Wink Martindale, though. The guy makes Geno Stone look like a 5-star prospect. So, I think that could be even better.
Here we go. We finally have... Oh, cool. He has shades of Derwin James here. Mr. Kyle Hamilton going to the Panthers at 6. Which
I do this one. Best player available. And this is a team with one safety. That's Jeremy Chin.
That's a damn good... That's a massive and awesome safety duo, though. 20 years old, man.
I'd love it. Yeah, 20-year-old Kyle Hamilton with Jeremy Chin. Like, sign me up. It's also... I think that a quarterback's going to be the pick regardless because, again, Rule's going to want to save his job. But I hypothesized this. So I thought that they could go after Tyler Huntley in free agency and give him like a 3-year, $60 million contract. Like, I love Tyler Huntley, and I think he'd be somebody who could probably carry this franchise if they bring in someone like Charles Cross, Ike Ekwonu, Kyle Hamilton, like a real difference maker.
Yeah.
That to me is what I'd rock.
I think that Kyle. I hate when I see quarterbacks being slotted here because this is
not
a top 10 quarterback class at all. But I think that if those 2 offensive tackles are gone, the Panthers can get a little bit wild here. Twan Carson's is bold pick by Carolina. I think that's a good call. It's definitely a bold move. Sometimes I think mock drafters will make moves like this and use Kyle Hamilton as that guy that you put in a position where you don't know what else to pick for that team, but you want other pieces to fall into place, and you can just justify Kyle Hamilton's the best player in the draft. They should take him. Done. And I will be surprised if Kyle Hamilton goes in the top 6 or 7 picks.
Oh,
but I also felt that way about
was it Derwin?
No, tight end.
Derwin. Oh my god. Are you talking about Blitz Boy?
No. The Falcons tight end. Why can't I not think of his name?
Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts, yeah. I felt that way about Kyle Pitts last year. That he was one of those players that was physically, you could justify it being a top 5, 6 pick. But I did not expect a team to actually have the courage to do so. Kyle Hamilton, similar concept this year. I'll be surprised if a team takes him that high, but I do think that he is deserving of it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I have a weird feeling he's going to the Jets.
Yeah, I think the Jets just make too much sense. They have too much secondary need anyways, and
you need a hit.
You need to replace Jamal Adams. Get rid of that ghost.
Yep.
Get you a Kyle Hamilton, clean cut, like solid leader, like what he's going to be able to bring you, and he's going to make a difference for everybody there. All right, so after going Icky at 5, right? They've got George Karlaftis at 7 for the Giants. So
I would love this. I just don't think he's going to go this high with all the recency bias with Jermaine Johnson, and then David Ojabo, just the intrigue about what he could be. Some people are saying it's DeMarcus Ware. Like, I just don't know. Yeah.
Bro, don't get me started on the fucking Hall of Fame, by the way.
That's another episode. That's for like next week.
That was for last
week. So stay tuned.
That was last week's episode.
Fuck last week's episode. That's gonna be another topic for another week as well, because we got to talk about that because there's some ridiculous stuff going on. But I just don't think Karlaftis brings the intrigue that a lot of these other guys do. Karlaftis is just kind of more of a interior version of Aiden Hutchinson. I still have him graded. I have him graded above KT. But again, that doesn't grading scale is a guide, not a solidified sword and stone type deal. He's a really good prospect, and I'd be so happy if he went here. I just don't know if I could see it happening.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I will say this though. I think that if Icky, I have a weird feeling Icky's going to be gone before. I have a feeling the Texans are going to fall in love with Icky. That's a weird feeling I have. But if Icky is not there, I think that they go Kyle Hamilton at 5, and then Linderbaum at 7. I have a weird feeling because it feels like a Brian Dable thing. Like, tell me he doesn't seem like a Bills guy. Yeah. Tyler Linderbaum's a beast. No, I will fight till I'm dead for Tyler Linderbaum. But I think Trevor Penning is the target for the Giants. I think that's the tackles. Like
not in the top
late
10.
first.
If they trade
No,
down,
no. I'm saying like they can trade up
I got you.
on their second round pick. And I think that would be a good idea. Because again, you and I, they just drafted Spencer Brown. It makes sense why they would go after a better Spencer Brown. So
speaking of Linderbaum though, we got him at
boy.
8. The center going at 8 overall. 8.
Should be going 5. I love him.
Let's not get carried away here.
Yeah, I'm joking, but this no.
Let's see. Funky Lions fan says that Karlaftis is a 4-3 defensive end. He's not flashy, but he does have some nice tape. I think that's a good point and a good reason for why he would not go to the Giants. And Kylo here says I like Ajabo over Karlaftis, and like you said, if they see shades of DeMarcus Ware, yeah.
Well, I'll say this about Karlaftis being a 4-3 D end. It's going to be tough for him to be that in the NFL since he has a very hard time bending. It's going to be very tough for him to be consistently being able to get pressure on the outside when he can't bend.
Going to be like a 5-tech in a
I think I think that's his best position unless coaches can train him to be a little bit better on the bend. Like he's an absolute technician, right? Like the guy, absolutely great hand fighter. He knows how to control the offensive lineman at the point of attack, good balance. I just have an issue with the fact that if you can't bend, there's these tackles that'll just be able to totally outclass you. It doesn't matter how good.
Old Danny Kelly handing out these elite athleticism awards to just anybody here.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, bulldozer power for sure. Probably one of the strongest players in the draft, but elite athleticism, let's throw it down there. Yeah,
let's hold it up a little.
Wow, even Linderbaum has elite athleticism here.
That's true though. That's true. That guy's
this is a good pick for them. I just don't know if I like taking a center at 8.
Why do you think that? Don't you think Hennessy should have a shot to be like a long-term center?
I don't really know, to be honest, what they're doing with their O-line over there. I don't.
Yeah, I would go Charles Cross over Linderbaum because, dude, Jake Matthews.
I totally even forgot about Charles Cross. He's totally should be up here. Let's check out this.
Spoiler alert, he's next. But.
I went Cardinals. Sorry.
Yeah.
Atlanta Falcons.
Jake Matthews has $14.5 million contract, and I think that is a very easy place to drop him, gain some cap because they're 2 under, and go after someone like Charles Cross.
Are they pulling the plug on Jalen Mayfield already?
And the guy's built to be a guard. He has like 31-inch arms.
Yeah, but he's like 6'8" too, isn't he?
That's even worse. That means he has to go down. Yeah. If he was short, that's like, okay, that's fine. But he's like, first this, and then he has to drop his hands down to block him. Like, oh. Linderbaum is special, Balin. I have him as my number 3 graded player.
Sorry, they have him listed as it's just a picture of Jalen Mayfield, man. They have him listed at 6'5", 320. He probably is a guard.
Yeah.
I thought he was taller than that. This picture of him, man, good lord.
I'm seeing it right now.
Have you ever seen that tweet of his people memed?
No.
Oh man, let me see if I can find it real quick. It's really funny.
God. Like the picture that you were talking about just popped up. It's hilarious. I love it. Oh my god. Dude, that's just not good. Please, you need to make that your profile picture on Twitter for like, if the Falcons make the playoffs, you make that your profile picture until they lose.
So people were memeing this tweet. If you don't want your QB hit, take me. Simple as that. And they were like memeing it with a picture of Matt Ryan like face down and him like standing in the background.
Oh Lord, I'm waiting for it to pop up on this because I'm just like waiting on it. But dude, Jalen. Oh, dude, Jalen Mayfield. I remember pre-draft cycle, everybody was loving him, including myself.
He physically looks like a guy that can do it.
Well, he stopped Chase Young on 8 reps. Yeah. Like people were talking like, oh, well, Rashawn Slater. It's like, well, Jalen Mayfield did that too.
He seemed like he was a discount value version of him, like that you could get him later in the draft and you'd still get that same sort of player. But
then I watched him in depth and I just really didn't like him at all. I gave the draft pick a B, which is, I think, pretty requisite of where he was and everything. makes sense.
Cedric Jones here says in the comments, absolutely Charles Cross over Linderbaum to the Falcons. I think that does make sense. But Balin says he thinks that Linderbaum is special. That's what it comes down to. If a GM thinks that a guy is special, if his scouts have said, like, this is a special center, there's no pick too high for him, essentially.
I just think Charles Cross is special, too.
I do, too, yeah. It's funny. Shades of Laramie Tunsil is a good move, and I've heard a rumor that they might be moving him in a trade, potentially, so...
Wait, I thought you were talking about for Charles Cross. I was like, the Broncos going to move up for him? Like, oh, Lord. I'm like, there goes Aaron Rodgers. But, I've heard that rumor as well. That's why I was thinking Icky, because even though they have Tyus Howard, they might have a big gaping hole. And honestly, that might not be if I were the Texans, I would look to the Jaguars and just be like, how much do you want for Laramie Tunsil?
Yeah, send him right back to
You want to give us the first overall pick along with another? I don't think his value is that. I think that his value might be just the first overall pick.
I think because he's already been traded once. The Texans paid way too much for him in the first place. If you got a first round pick for an early first round pick for him, I'd be surprised. A late, like a Super Bowl contender trying to add a Trent Williams type of piece to their offense, I could see that being the move here.
They traded 2 firsts for him, and they both ended up in like the top 15. I thought it was insane too, but I mean, he's turned out to be one of the best tackles when he's healthy.
Yeah.
But I mean, Charles Cross.
I don't understand this would be a terrible move.
What?
They would have to trade him after June 1st.
Oh, yeah, that would be bad because they have to. How much of dead cap hit would that be?
That'd be $8 million for the next 2 years. So you'd have $8 million this year, $8 million next year, the year after that. But you'd save 17. I just don't see the value in
if you can trade and get enough value, I think that would be okay. Protect Joe Burrow. That would. I mean, I don't know what would happen to Jonah Williams at that point.
That's actually a great idea, Balin. That's like the exact scenario that makes sense to trade for a Laramie Tunsil.
Damn. I mean, I would give that an A+ trade.
Yeah.
Just because I would say I don't really care about Jonah Williams enough to stop me from getting Laramie Tunsil for a first.
But to do that, it has to be before June 1st. So you'd be taking $16 million in dead cap. I guess if you want to get that off the books and move on, you're not competing this year, so or you don't think so at least. So if you want to do that a year premature, then go for it. I guess Joe Burrow would probably love to have him on board. Broncos probably won't own this pick. This will probably be the Green Bay Packers picking. So
it's the toughest thing about our job as a mock drafter. Is just it's tough to actually say who's going to be at what spot.
Yeah.
Because then you'll see a 3-way trade that just flips everything on its head.
Especially the middle of February. Something's going to happen and the whole draft is going to change.
Yep.
All right, number 10. That's right. He has a projected trade with the Steelers moving up with the Jets. Dude, I actually really like this because I remember Mike Tomlin saying that he thinks he needs a mobile quarterback, and it makes a lot of sense because this is the best one in the class. He has to play Lamar Jackson twice a year. He sees the impact that he has had on that team.
I hate the shades of.
Yeah.
It's really irritating me. Turbo boosters.
Boosters, right?
The hell out of here. Turbo boosters.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm not a fan of that either, but I like Jalen Hurts. I like Malik Willis. I don't like Jalen Hurts that much. I like Malik Willis. This would be a good place for him to go because the defense is.
I love him to the Steelers.
You can fall back on. Oh, that's right, our resident Steelers fan here. You go ahead and chime in.
Yeah, I was originally like, oh Lord, they just had to give up another first for it. But this is the exact same spot where they sent their number 20 pick and a next year second and like a this year third for when they moved up for Devin Bush. So the trade value is pretty accurate. But I mean, I would love him on the Steelers. I think that he would be phenomenal. It's just tough to say that the Steelers, with the amount of holes that they have, would actually want to move that much draft capital for someone who's such an unknown. Like, you could wait a year or two and be able to get some of these next superstars that are coming out. Caleb Williams, if the team really sucks that badly, you can do that, or you can trade your draft capital to get Caleb Williams in a couple years. Then you can get somebody who you know is going to be a surefire prospect, who's not a redshirt. Malik Willis, I thought was a redshirt senior, not a redshirt junior. I might be bugging on that one, but regardless, I have Malik as my QB1 as well for Balin, who's commenting. He's probably gonna hear it in like a minute, but I think Malik Willis is a phenomenal project. I just don't know if for that amount of draft capital you're gonna want to move up for.
Well, I think the idea is Ben Roethlisberger held this team back for the last couple of years. And,
he did.
At least last year and a half. And adding a athlete like this is the type of place where I think he could come in and give you a boost right out of the gate.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's got that lasting ability in a rookie season to make a playoff run, but at least you've got a defense to sort of fall back on. His biggest struggle is moving on to that second and third read before taking off. That defense would allow him to scale back the offense and play a lot more conservatively and play that ball control possession game, run the clock out, lead the league in rushing type of thing. Like it could be a good fit for them.
I would buy a Malik Willis jersey. That's how much I would like it. It hurts to see the Steelers use draft capital to move up in order to select him when there are some pretty big holes on stuff like the offensive line.
And that's not very characteristic of the Steelers to do that either, right? Like that's not typically their move. Like when they moved,
they did it before, but not for a QB.
Next quarterback off the board here to the Washington Commanders. Kenny Pickett, old tiny hands himself. The fact that he wouldn't have his hands measured, and his excuse was that he's doing exercises to extend his dude, no, man, no.
You're getting caught with 4K. Like, it was bad. It was really bad. Really bad.
Yeah.
What do you think of the comp?
Tony Romo? I get it.
Really?
Yeah, I get it.
The last guy who started the only quarterback who's actually been a starter in the NFL with sub 9-inch hands was Mike Vick.
Yeah, and he's not an athlete like Vick. Nor does he have a cannon of an arm. Vick has one of the strongest arms I've ever seen.
Oh my god, dude!
Somebody,
I missed it.
And somebody in my draft chat on Twitter said that this was the new Teddy Two Gloves.
Yeah, did he wear two gloves on one hand to make his hand more grip the ball? I heard that there was some report he wore two gloves on his right hand to make it more grippy.
That's weird. I've heard of people using two gloves before somewhere else, and it doesn't work there either. So not recommended. I don't like Kenny Pickett as a NFL prospect. He was a fun quarterback. The people, I don't know why the debate between the hands is can be such a hostile one for some people, that they swear they go to bat for these guys with tiny hands, and it's how many times do we need to see these guys don't pan out?
Yeah, you need to grip the ball
with the tiny hands. They're playing with a bigger football when they there is a big difference between a college football and an NFL football. Balin's actually asking, what is the big deal with the hand size? It is because the ball is so much bigger. It's like a girl's basketball and a boy's basketball. You shoot with a girl's basketball, you're going to be draining shots. You're going to be shooting 70% from the 3-point line. You switch to a men's size ball, and you're going to start shooting 30%. It's a huge difference. And if you can't go to a place that's outdoors. I wouldn't have him on my board if I was had an outdoor stadium, because half your games
the ball gets slick.
Yeah. And that's a terrible field. And it's always mushy and gross. I don't like Kenny Pickett. I like Matt Corral here a lot more than Kenny Pickett. But
Rep Oaks Christian again. I love Matt Corral. Yeah. No, I love that guy. He's one of my favorite people I've ever met. Hands down. Guy's a great dude. Except for when you know who Wayne Gretzky is?
Yeah.
So his son also went to our school, and
That just
apparently,
shows how that just shows how young you are to ask if I knew who Wayne Gretzky was, because
well, I was
your
wondering because a lot
generation
of
probably doesn't all know who Wayne Gretzky is unless they are like diehard hockey fans. Wayne Gretzky was on cereal boxes back in the day. Like,
yeah,
I don't like hockey at all. It's my least favorite of the sports probably, but I know who
yeah,
Wayne Gretzky is. But sorry, go ahead.
yeah. So his son Tristan, great guy by the way. His sister Emma goes to SMU too, but he hit on Matt's girlfriend, and then Matt just like broke his glasses and his phone and almost like whooped the crap out of him. By the way, that's why he didn't get into USC.
Interesting. You know these weird
Yeah.
stories about these behind the scenes for these prospects here.
Hey man, I like to give my little 2 cents. Like,
Let's move on to the Vikings. I got to go in a little bit here, and
yeah,
we're only at pick 12.
yeah, we got sauce.
So Sauce Gardner. It makes sense.
Love it.
Yeah, I mean Vikings fans are tired of cornerbacks, but you got to hit on one eventually, right?
Yep, that's the one to do it.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go to the next one. Might as well.
Garrett Wilson. So I'm not as I like Garrett Wilson. I think this Odell Beckham comparison, I don't know why the Red Bull, but just the comparison in general fits. I remember Odell Beckham was another receiver with not standout attributes on paper, but you look at them and they just make plays.
They work together.
And they understand the football field, the empty spaces, how to get open in them. And then they got the athleticism to complement that. So I get it. I think that it's going to be an Ohio State receiver either way. I like Chris Olave as an NFL receiver more.
Really?
But I get it with Garrett Wilson. I get it.
I don't know if I was the first one to do this, but I comped Garrett Wilson to Odell Beckham Jr. Like back in week 6, week 5. I was like, this guy, because I always loved sending him to the Browns. I was like, this is what Odell Beckham Jr. should have been for the team.
Yeah.
Like, just, he doesn't have that star intrigue, but the guy's phenomenal. I love Garrett Wilson to this team, but again, it really depends on who you want. If they go Chris Olave, if they go even Treylon Burks, as long as they don't go Jameson Williams, because you're pretty much saying screw you to Anthony Schwartz, fine. Because I think they desperately need a wide receiver, and both those guys could play their own roles.
To me, I want somebody different from what they've already got. Anthony Schwartz is sort of their only explosive guy right now. Everybody else is sort of a possession route runner type.
Which I respect. Like, again, I'd be perfectly fine with it.
But who knows if Baker knows how to take advantage of those deeper threats down the field. The freelancers, as Odell Beckham put it. Or I think it was Aditi Kinkabwala was the one that was like, she was the one that initially reported that they might be moving on from him, and she went to bat for Baker and was like, oh, there's two sides of the story. And it's like, no, Aditi, you were wrong. You were fed BS from inside the Browns organization, and they were all wrong. Odell Beckham was not washed. Baker Mayfield struggled with somebody that was a bigger star than him. And did it messed with his game mentally. And he's better off without him because he needs to be the alpha in the room. The problem is when your alpha is another guy with small hands, do you really have an alpha at all? So I don't know. The Browns are the Browns.
I know.
The Ravens, Trayvon Walker, shades of Rashawn Gary. He's like got 30 pounds on Rashawn Gary, doesn't he?
I think that he's just built different than any edge rusher that I've seen.
Yeah.
Like, he weighs 275, looks 275, but moves at 235. I've never seen someone who could just be that quick at that size. That being said, he's super unpolished. So you could say I think he might have done Rashawn Gary because Rashawn Gary wasn't polished coming out per se. Obviously, you see what he does now.
Took him a while. Took him a long fucking while.
Yeah, but I mean, I would honestly say, I don't know, Justin Houston kind of comes to mind. There's a guy who's really good speed of power, but
he wasn't 275 coming out of college either, though, man. 275, that's a big boy.
He's a freak. The thing is, it's not a fat 275.
Yeah.
Like, Karlaftis is a big boy. This guy's a unit. Like, I'm like, my God.
That's a good word.
That's the official term. That's what we use in NFL language. I love it.
Treylon Burks for the Eagles, man.
Let's go. That's such a Howie move. Tell me that's not a Howie move.
It does seem like it. Debo Samuel with a power-up mushroom? This guy.
Oh, my God.
Trying way too hard, man.
I know. I'm like, come on now.
I like Treylon. Treylon's probably my number one receiver.
Oh, really?
Him and Drake London, I want to see their numbers. I want to see how they test.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like just the physical. 6'3" to me is that sweet spot for a wide receiver,
That's
man.
Perfect.
I really like that. 232 is a big boy though. But he's good, man. I like his ability to win the contested. Both guys. I want my number one receiver to be the contested catch guy. That shit hits the fan, and my quarterback just has a guy that he can literally just toss it up to, and you trust them to come down with it. And I think that's why I'm not as high on a Garrett Wilson as a Treylon Burks or a Drake London.
Yeah. I know that Balin's talking about it being a terrible comp. I think with the power-up mushroom, I think it's a terrible comp, but
it's just
with
unnecessary.
This guy, yeah, it's a little bit over the top. He's trying to be a little unique here.
Yeah.
Debo Samuel, I think it's honestly a pretty good comp because he's really good with the ball in his hands. He's very aggressive, almost like a running back, and maybe not the best route running separator, which I don't think Debo was known for that per se either. So I honestly think it is a good comp, but not the mushroom. Like, get off the mushrooms. He needs to be the one without the power mushroom.
Yeah.
Next pick though, I don't like this comp.
Brian Burns.
I'm not a fan of the Brian Burns comp for Ojabo.
See, I like Brian Burns though. I was big on Brian Burns. I don't mind this, and I can see a little bit of that. The measurables are pretty similar. So these scenarios, it's really risky drafting pass rushers from teams that had another pass rusher on the other side that is projected to be such high of a pick, because you don't know who was the actual one creating the pressure that opened it up for the other guy, and who the opposition was scheming to stop. So like, people like to bring up the Georgia game for Aiden Hutchinson as the reason that he got bullied, pushed around. They were scheming for Aiden Hutchinson. And when you're able to do that, unless your name's Aaron Donald, you're able to select a defensive end or pass rusher and say, that guy's not going to beat us. We're going to put all of the chips over on that side of the table and stop him. Somebody else is going to have to beat us. But at least we know when we come out of this game, at least we didn't let that guy beat us. And that's probably a very common approach for defensive or offensive line going into Michigan games when you've got two guys like this. I'd love to go back one day and look at the history of the duo pass rushers and see how they actually panned out long term in the NFL, because I bet you there's not a great track record of it.
No, because again, you can't really scheme for both guys. And that being said, they did scheme for Aiden Hutchinson in that Georgia game, and David Ojabo did not capitalize.
Yeah.
But I will say, I do think the Ravens are the one to snag him. They have the Michigan DC as their DC. And
that's right.
And they also, he played with Odafe Owe in high school, apparently.
Oh, yeah?
So, yeah, just the Ravens always do the most logical thing. So that's what that is. Next, you got Jordan Davis.
This is like the most common mocked pick. It's crazy that 17, we're going to be halfway into the mock or the first round, and it be such a consensus pick. I don't hate it. I love Jordan Davis. I love me a big old nose tackle like this. Akeem Hicks, I like that comp. One of my favorite players in the league, honestly. I've always been a big fan of Akeem Hicks. From the way that he plays to his leadership off the field, he's just a dude with good energy. I don't know if I'd be impressed if they take him. I'll be surprised.
I'd hate it.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well, for one, when I watch Jordan Davis, the guy plays 2 out of 3 snaps at most at full speed, right? And when he's at those full speed, like, god dang, right? Like, that is, he's a force to be reckoned with. But I think that there's either a motor or athleticism issue with him, which if it's athleticism, he needs to get in shape, which might bring down his best trait, which is his size. Yeah. If it's intangible, if it's his motor, we might have a big issue with him in general. So, and also, again,
it's probably a fitness and conditioning thing. I mean, these are college students, and once you, I actually don't mind that he's on 330. To me seems like a good number.
Yeah.
He hasn't listed as 330 here. If he was 360, I know that he came into Georgia at like 380 or something like that. Who was that LSU defensive tackle? Was it last year?
Yeah, I know. Oh
And he
my
was like
God.
390. Like he came in as a freshman.
Tyler
Like,
Sheldon.
yes, at like 390. Like that's just excessive. But
Yeah.
330, if he can play at 330, that's ideal. That's what you want from Jordan Davis.
He's listed at 346.6. So
Not bad.
yeah.
Matt Corral to the Saints.
Mm.
Mini Marcus Mariota.
He's not that good of a runner. Again, like a guy who has a good enough arm.
I think Marcus Mariota was underrated for his straight line speed. Like he is a fast dude. I think that he is more agile and quick twitch than Mariota was.
I mean,
Mariota might be a starting quarterback this year, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, Matt has a great command of the locker room. He has a good enough arm. I will say that I have some questions on his reads. Watch the Tennessee and Alabama game, and it gets a little bit sketchy in terms of like what he's seeing there. I love Matt to death, but those two games I saw something that it's an intangible trait. You know how there's like it factor?
Yeah.
I call it the deer in the headlights factor, where like when you look at them, they look confused and lost on the field. And I saw that a couple times with Matt, and it scared me. I saw that a couple times with Kenny Pickett too, but like there was just that weird feeling I got where I was like, oh no. Like I was high on Matt coming into the year because I know the guy's a fucking stud, but I'm a little bit worried. He's also older. He's 23. Like,
yeah.
I was wondering, like, yeah, he says he's a redshirt junior, but damn, that guy was two grades above me, and he's only one grade above me for this.
I hate you for being so young.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's perfect. It's a good fit, especially since they don't have money to bring back Jameis Winston.
Who did the Eagles go with earlier?
They went with David Ojabo, which should have been not Jermaine Johnson, and then Treylon Burks.
That's right.
I love Jermaine Johnson.
All right.
At McD, I like it.
So then McDuffie here.
I'm not a fan of McDuffie yet. I'm not.
This is early. I don't like a guy that I think is a slot corner this high.
Mm-hmm. I think he's very scheme specific.
Yeah.
This might be the scheme for him though. Like I was thinking like the Colts, Chargers, and Eagles are the good fits for him in terms of just good like safety over the top.
Yeah.
Zone in there. I like it.
Drake London to the Jets. This is because they traded down. Now this would be solid for them because they could probably even. I like how he has Dennis Rodman as the shades of comp here, and that's just because he's a rebounder. You know, he's got that. Gonna go up and get it type of game to him. So
I love
this dude. I think this dude has potential to be really, really good. Like Slim Mike Evans is.
That's a disrespect. Like, he's better than Mike Evans. He's a different style player.
Don't.
He's a different style player.
Mike Evans is already disrespected enough.
No, I'm saying that his ceiling's better than Mike Evans.
I got you. I think they're about the same. Honestly, I think they're both elite, not like clear cut wide receiver ones. Like.
Oh yeah, Balin brings up a good point. Doesn't Lovie Smith bring with him cover too?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He fits there too.
Mr. Tampa too.
Yeah. So that's another really good fit for him. Chris Olave.
Shades of Stephon Diggs.
Let's be respectful here.
Stephon Diggs is like 5'11", isn't he?
Yeah.
He's much tinier.
I like the route running.
I can see that. I can see that comparison though.
I call Chris Olave, if he, like I always say this, if he's on the board, I would go probably that route or Devin Lloyd for the Patriots because I say that Chris Olave is like the Devontae Smith for Mac Jones. The good route running separator.
Yeah.
So I dig it.
Yeah, I like him. It makes sense for the Patriots here. Pat's time agrees. Yes.
Yep. I mean, I love it.
Kenyon Green. Oh my goodness. So this is.
I have a hot take.
Go for it.
He's a tackle, not a guard, by a long shot.
Nah, he's too thick.
Oh my God! Did you see him at left tackle though?
Yeah, but he's just,
this guy is so much better.
He'll be so much better, even better if you don't need him to use his feet as much.
Oh, I just love him. I have him as a first-round tackle, second-round guard. Honestly,
Gross.
I just love him. I love him
too. I'm hoping that he falls to 24.
That'd be nice.
Makes sense.
That'd be great
for the Raiders too, though, who are rebuilding their offensive line.
Mm-hmm. But at this point, you're gonna have 2 first-round guards. Just
who's that?
Like, I don't Leatherwood.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's
this
a
was
good
like
point. Yeah.
I'd go Trevor Penning at that point. I'd say screw it. My right tackle is fucked anyways.
So that's why I don't think. Who were you saying earlier was interested in him?
The Giants.
The Giants. That's why I don't think that he'll even make it to back there, because I think that a team will try to get ahead of that run. He looked really good at the Senior Bowl. Like he's one of those guys that's like, oh no, like he can move and do this. See, I felt like I just needed to see him. He
got torched quite a few times.
Did he?
Yeah. No. Did you get virtual access? To it? So when you get virtual media access, you get to watch every single little snap.
How'd you pull that off?
I work with a sports agency.
All right, we're gonna have to talk later about that.
But yeah, I saw all of his snaps, and I was one of the few people who were saying he's not doing that well because he's getting torched 50% of the snaps, like bad. Now the strength is critical because for a team that already has a crap right tackle situation like the Raiders, you're not going to be losing much, but you have a lot to gain. So that's where I get that. But it's like he did not look as good as everybody was saying. Yeah. Like everybody was saying how great he looked. I'm like, you guys need to start looking at the reps where he got
the physical. He looked. I feel like when you think of these small school guys, you almost downgrade them physically in your mind because you see them against downgraded physical competition, and to see them and see that they've got the ability, the physical abilities, it's refreshing. Like I said, I'm no offensive line scout at all, but I was impressed more than I was in the little that I saw from him.
Yeah,
more than I was, down on him. Jamison Williams here to the Cardinals. Jerry Jeudy on 1.5 times speed. I actually don't mind that. He's a little bit bigger than Jeudy too. You think so?
Yeah. I mean, I just love Jerry Jeudy. I'm like, don't do Jerry Jeudy like that. No, I like him.
You think that Jamison Williams is slower than Jeudy?
No. I just don't. I feel bad for shitting on Jerry Jeudy's speed. I would just say he's Henry Ruggs, but better in open field. That's just me.
I hope he's better in the open road too. Moving on, Devin Lloyd to the Cowboys. So I hate. This is a common pick for the Cowboys linebacker. I hate the idea of a linebacker because, and I actually want to do like a list one time. I don't know if it'll be with you or by myself of former prospect or former draft picks that are going to influence the first overall, the first round pick. And I think that Jabril Cox is why the Cowboys are not touching linebacker in the first round.
I thought he was a safety. I thought he was a safety linebacker hybrid, to be honest with you. I didn't think he could be a true linebacker.
Really?
I just don't like this Isaiah Simmons.
They had him on the edge a lot. He was rushing the passer a lot. 8 sacks. Damn.
That is a lot. Damn. But I don't like Isaiah Simmons as Devin Lloyd's comp. I went after Nakobe Dean as my guy to go for in the first round. Obviously, was he taken yet? I don't think he was. Because I just love his ability to continue blitzing and covering. And when you lose LVE, kind of makes sense. But again, that's just because I think that Parsons will take more of an edge rusher role.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't like the idea of losing LVE, but he just didn't.
For the past 4 years, he's been worse.
Hey, I'm doing something in here right now. I'll talk to you later. How's school?
Good.
Okay, good. I'll see you in a minute.
No.
Better be good. School has to be great.
All right. The Bills, Jahan Dotson here.
Ew, I don't like that shades. What is that?
Deontay with Stickum, right? Deontay did a lot better this year.
Yeah, well, Deontay sucks at catching, but I would not comp Jahan to Deontay Johnson. I think it's like James Lofted or something like that. Just he has a great way of positioning his body. I don't think he's nearly as good of a route runner as people are saying. I'm not that big of a fan of Jahan, but I think he has some elite traits.
Yeah, I think he is going to appeal to teams that just need a deep threat, and I think that this is definitely a good spot for that. I don't see them going after that Isaiah McKenzie game. I don't see them going for a wide receiver this early on,
especially when there's some good corners on the board.
Sorry, this next one. I say Isaiah McKenzie. I meant Gabriel Davis. I was looking at McKenzie.
No, I know.
Emmanuel Sanders. I think that they should bring him back if he's down. Move on from Cole Beasley here. He's making too much money for his hot takes. So
Tennessee Titans go on Trey McBride though.
Oh, you dropping spoilers before I even scroll down?
I didn't.
Nice.
I'm all like lagging. I thought you were like going silent to make sure I could say it. I was like,
That's
okay.
funny. Yeah, no, I think this is a good move. I didn't have him going that early. I didn't realize that he was this productive. Like, this is insane he went for a college tight end. This is an insane year. But this is questionable to me. I'm not sure. I don't know what the 1 touchdowns is about. I have to go back and see because that's very strange. That's very. It's very Julio Jones of him actually to have such a productive year, so many yards, so many receptions, and then fall short.
Yeah. So, I don't get that, but yeah, I think that quarterback should be honestly on the table for that team. I think they needed Titans. I think that they need Sam Howell. Honestly, if you're gonna play a conservative game, you might as well take a guy who has at least. You still have the same mobility aspect. You have somebody who needs to learn the progressions, but he's somebody who could actually be a difference maker if you wanted him to be. I just don't think Tannehill has that.
Atlanta fan mentioned it's funny because the Titans drafted Trey McBride a few years ago. I don't know if you remember it was a wide receiver from William and Mary.
Oh my God, yeah.
Local guy here for me.
Yeah.
That would be funny.
That's so funny.
I don't know where he's at now though.
Yeah.
Andrew Booth here falling all the way to 27 with the Buccaneers. I mean, they can't bring Richard Sherman back, so
no. But yeah, it's a good position to go. I just think I think this should also be potentially a quarterback if they don't get one in free agency.
Yeah, I feel like they've put a lot of resources, draft resources, into these cornerbacks here too. I could see them going more along the defensive line.
Disrespect to the next pick.
Packers. What is that? Who's disrespected here?
N'Kobe. He shouldn't fall this far. The guy's just.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like,
I was so used to the disrespect going to the shades of. I was like, whoa. This is a good comp, actually.
Yeah. No, I like that. I like that.
They've needed a player like this for a while. Who is the Burks? Who's the?
Oh, I'm sorry. I just saw the next pick and it's ridiculous. Sorry, what?
So I don't.
Debo was the one before.
I don't think that this is that terrible of a move. I love draft. If you're gonna take a running back early in if you wanted to take a running back in the second, you might as well trade up and get them in the back half of the first, so you can get that 5th year extension on there.
I love Breece Hall. Let me phrase it preface it by that. Breece Hall is going to be nothing compared to next year's running back class. Like, they need to look like, if you're going to give a guy like a 4-year contract plus a 5th, you have to look at what's going to be coming in the future. And you got Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, along with like Tank Bigsby and Deuce Vaughn, Zach Charbonnet. Who else is there? Even from SMU, Ulysses. What's his name? I want to say Ulysses Gilbert, but I know it's a linebacker. But you guys know what I mean. Like, the running backs of the future, you don't draft a running back in the first, for one. But two, they're just, when the talent is like that the next year, like, your offensive line is not good as it is. And Breece Hall did great with a bad offensive line. Yeah. But
yeah, and I'll disagree with you on that. This is the place to take a running back because you can get 5 years out of them.
Oh.
And then at the end of it, you wash your hands of the guy and you don't bother to re-sign him because
Broshman's gonna come at you for that one.
is he a team running backs guy?
No, he's not gonna be a pay running backs guy.
Oh, he's a Dolphins fan.
Don't draft. Yeah, he's Dolphins fan, and plus don't draft running backs in the first guy.
See, and I think that if you're going to do it, this is the place to do it. Just because of that fifth year can be so crucial, as far as keeping them long term and fitting them under your cap.
Yeah.
Here's a guy we actually talked about him the other week, DeMarvin Leal, falling all the way to 30. A guy that I thought was a top 10, top 5 prospect potentially at points this season.
As an edge,
I still think they had him playing. I like this Cameron Jordan comp here.
Yeah, me too.
I think that he's gonna impress, and I think he's gonna shoot up boards once he physically tests.
I think that he needs to go back to a pure edge because he dropped significantly on his impact when he went to just straight 3-tech. Like, I mean, you're going up against you're going up against tackles who are used to more speed rushers and stuff like that. Now you're going to the inside where you have guys like Neil Farrell Jr. and I'm just thinking of the LSU boys, Tyler Shelvin. They're used to battling big ass dudes who have some juice to them. He's not special in the interior. He's special as an edge rusher who has that weird size and speed. I just loved him, but he fell on my board he actually graded out as my number 2 edge when he was just a pure edge, but you can't dismiss the games after.
He's just, I think that guys that are as disruptive as him end up going earlier than this.
He could.
I think that he'll end up. I've heard a lot of people letting him slip into the second round, and I just don't see it.
No.
Let's see. Here's your boy Tyler Penning to the Bengals. So if they don't get Larry Tunsil, this is probably a good move for them. Who are the other?
You can't get much worse.
Right. Who are the other tackles available right now?
Nobody worth it.
Yeah.
You got Bernard Ryman, who is PFF's darling, but looked crap at the Senior Bowl. And then
I love that dude's name.
I know, it's a pretty sick name, but this tackle class is just not good. Sean Ryan, another guy who's probably gonna be. I haven't projected as a guard, but like that's your next best bet.
Yeah.
So
I mean they got to go for.
I go Zion Johnson here though.
Oh, that's right. I think that actually makes a lot more sense.
He's gonna be an instant impact.
And interior, and they keep Jonah Williams.
And they also probably put Carmen for another year on the outside. The guy was 21 years old.
He didn't even play in the Super. He wasn't even active for the Super Bowl though. So like, I don't know if
they're in a tough spot.
Yeah.
They're in a tough spot.
Desmond Ridder to the Lions. I love this pick, man. You don't like this?
I've gotten a little bit higher on Desmond Ridder since I did my QB video, but because he's definitely improved his accuracy and his mechanics overall. But man, I don't know. I don't think that he's gonna be that impact for the Lions.
So
I don't
his accuracy reminds me of Dak Prescott's actually, and it will be on point, and then all of a sudden you're just like, dude, where were you throwing that to? It's like there's like a disconnect that he just throws these errant passes like he wasn't even paying attention all of a sudden. It's very bizarre. Physically he's got everything. Like if I still played Madden, this would be the dude I would be trading for in all of my leagues because he's got the physical tools, the size, he's young enough. That accuracy scares me though because that's game-changing accuracy because you could be throwing picks all the time and just not be able to I don't know, maintain consistent level of play. And I think that it's funny because he says shades of Daniel Jones, but in a good way. And it might not be fumbles, but the turnovers, throwing the ball to the other team is very Daniel Jonesy, and it's a little bit scary. But he is one of my favorite prospects at quarterback here. Yeah.
Well, that's that. Damn, we did a mock in this too. How long was this? 2 hours?
This was a long video. I think in the future we'll probably try 2.5 hours. Good Lord.
Let's go.
Is that right?
Hey, at least we proved that we could do it. Well, I mean, to be fair, the first 30 minutes was figuring out the tech, but
that's right.
Like,
Funky
Lions in here. Yeah, I wouldn't go after Desmond Ridder. I'd go after someone with a little bit more pure upside than just a winner. but that's just me liking Sam Howell as a potential guy to grow.
That's right. A lot of people like Sam Howell. I'm not as big on him.
He fell a little bit to me, but
guys, this is Alex from the Hail Marys. Oh, sorry.
Sports. Yeah, Hail Mary Sports. You're good.
Hail Mary Podcast Sports. I linked him in the comments here. We will be back again next Thursday doing a similar thing, maybe a little bit more organized, maybe a little bit more.
We know the audio now.
Specific topics. Yes, I would probably still experiment with the Discord because I think that all I needed, what I did, I fixed it, and it was an easier fix than I thought. But I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Alex, I appreciate you joining me.
Appreciate you having me on.
Tell them about your channel again. What do you specialize in? Before we get
NFL draft. So you guys like mock drafts? I know Funky Lions fan can attest to this. He's one of my subs, but definitely if you guys like mock drafts, I'm building off seasons for every team. So if you guys like that and getting even better at graphics, trying to be the next NFLRT, you know where to go.
Awesome.
So that's me.
Yeah, all right, and you guys make sure you hit the like button before you go so that other people get shared this silly old live stream here. Feel free to check out our previous mock drafts and let us know what you think, where we can improve. I love some harsh criticism, and I know you guys will bring it. So,
all right.
Thanks again, Alex.
Thank you.
See you in the next one, man.
See ya.